yesterday when we were on, a piece came out from Matt Gelb of The Athletic talking about the Phillies at the trade deadline and looking at the more expensive aisle was the way he put it, is the Phillies are looking to shop in a higher tier this year when it comes to pieces at the trade deadline they could look to add to this team. And I'll just say it right off top of you. I don't buy it. I don't believe it. I don't trust Dave Dombrowski to do the things that he says he's going to do at the deadline. I mean, it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to do it. The past couple of years, he has not done it. I don't trust Dave Dombrowski. Do you? 215-592-9494. And I'll throw it to you, Hugh. As we head toward the deadline here, we'll obviously talk about it a lot the next couple of weeks. Do you trust Dave Dombrowski to go out and get the Phillies the pieces they need to really complete this team, be a championship contender?
Do I trust him? I would say yes. I would. Because when I look at the landscape of this team right now, they're getting a little older. They've been right there on the cusp for the last couple of years. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Dodgers. Remember those years that the Dodgers had where they were kind of like right there and they never got over the hump? And then they stuck with their manager because he's been there for 8 years or something
Dave
like
Roberts.
that. Yeah, he's been there for 8 years. And then they finally break through. But the unfortunate thing about this team is they're getting a little older. And, when you look at the Dodgers, for example, they went out, they got Shohei Ohtani. Before that, they got Freddie Freeman. They got Mookie Betts and all those guys. So it was they did what they had to do. So I feel like the Phillies are kind of right there. We don't know how many more good years we're going to have with Bryce. Now, it looks like Bryce is trending in the right direction right now. But you don't want to waste those. You don't want to waste those moments, man. You don't want to waste this pitching that you have. So, yeah, I trust that.
I totally agree, and I think that's what the Phillies should do. But based off Dave Dombrowski's resume the last couple of years, I can't believe and trust that that's going to happen. I mean, we hear the reports. We hear about, the Phillies are looking at this. Phillies are looking at that. They know they need pieces to complete this team. But then I look at what they've actually done. And the last couple deadlines, 2023, Michael Lorenzen, who was essentially a sixth starter, Rodolfo Castro, a guy who's not even in the major leagues right now. That deadline was a disgrace. And that deadline probably cost the Phillies a World Series that year. Last year, you get Carlos Estevez, Tanner Banks, Austin Hayes. None of those guys very good for him. Estevez, I guess people will say his numbers during the regular season weren't bad. I think if you watched him pitch, it told a little different story where he did struggle. He did allow runners to get on. And the bottom line is, I feel like the last couple of years, Dave Dombrowski hasn't made those big moves, those splash moves, and that's what I think this team needs. And based on his history, I don't care about what's said. The saying is words are wind. It doesn't really matter what you say. It's what you do. And what Dombrowski's done does not give me confidence that he's going to really act appropriately this year.
I look at it like this. Because I've been here for 3 years, right? And in my 3-year span that I've been here, I got here right after the Phillies went to the World Series and all that. So I've been here for a little while. But I remember going into this thing, the young guys were a big part of the future. I remember when we were talking about the daycare and how at one point during the season, I think that was my first season here, where they kind of carried the team when the guys at the top of the order, they really weren't hitting as well. So I feel like a lot of the moves that Dave Dombrowski didn't make was because he felt like the younger guys were going to break through. Now, fast forward to this year, and unfortunately, Stott and Bohm, because those are the two guys that I was talking about, they haven't taken the leap that you would like them to take. When you talk about the top of the order, Schwarber contract being up, Bryce Harper dealing with some injury issues. Trey Turner looked like he's starting to turn the corner a little bit. JT getting a little older. So now I think you're more in a position where you're kind of pressed to go out and make those moves because, like I said, those young guys didn't take that leap that you thought they were going to take.
Absolutely. And if you want to get in on this, 215-592-9494, 215-592-9494, you truly trust Dave Dombrowski at the deadline because I think we all know they need the moves, but it's about whether you trust Dombrowski to make them or not. And I just don't, and part of it is just, and most of it is the way he's acted, but also Dave Dombrowski has kind of just seemed hesitant to go all in the last couple of years. Here was Dave Dombrowski talking recently about, weighing going for it versus keeping some of the prospects at the deadline.
We've had this core of players together for quite a few years, 4 or 5 years. And then now as they get a little bit older, people say, well, your window is closing. Well, I agree, and yet I disagree with that quite strongly because maybe it's closing with all these exact players because we have some free agents at the end of the year, and your chances of maybe re-signing all of them is not going to be good. But you never know what happens. But also, we still have a good core of young players that are with our organization. We still have good starting pitching, and that's going to be with us for years. And we're also starting to get an influx of talent from our minor league system. If you have a chance to win, and it doesn't matter if you have a club that is a younger club or you have a club that is a veteran club, you're trying to do everything you can within reason to try to win. I mean, that's why we're in the game.
And that concerns me because I feel like you hear Dave Dombrowski speak there, and, you know, he does sound to me like he's more qualifying it with, well, we have these young players coming up as well. And I think there's too much of an eye toward the future and not enough of an eye into right now. And here's a little more. And this is just in terms of Dave Dombrowski and why it's hard to believe all the things that you hear. Because Matt Gelb, I don't doubt his reporting that that's what the Phillies are getting out there right now, is that they want to shop in the higher end. They want to go after the bigger targets. But we've heard this before. This was former GM Jim Bowden last year during basically this exact time of year, talking about Dombrowski and what he's going to get at the deadline.
That's their target. That's it. And knowing Dave Dombrowski, the one thing I know about him is when he targets something, he'll get it. And when he targets it, it's not going to be a risk. It's going to be the best. When he targets the best, he gets the best. So Dave's going to get one of those three guys.
I'm so tired of hearing this. I mean, Dave,
talking about what he used to do.
He only goes out and gets the best. Michael Lorenzen and Rodolfo Castro, that's not the best. Austin Hayes is not the best. How can we trust him, Hugh?
Damn,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Went in.
Get fired about Dombrowski.
Because I feel like he has 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And as a GM, that's the fence that you always try to straddle. But realistically, when you look at your team and the fact that Schwarber, one of your biggest bats, is potentially out of here, you know, Zach Wheeler told you flat out, I only got 2 more of these things in me. I got 2 more, and then I'm out. And we don't know what we're going to get from Aaron Nola. That feels like a pressure situation to me. That feels like something that, hey, you got to strike while the iron's hot.
It is a dire situation, and I think you need to. And I want to believe. I want to believe these reports. I want to believe the Matt Gelb report that Dombrowski's going to go all out this deadline. He's going to do whatever it takes to improve this team. But then, you know, you see the stuff that they're really not focused on the lineup. They're really looking at the bullpen primarily. I think you need both, and I can't trust him based on the resume the last few years, not just the deadlines, but the off seasons either. I mean, you look at really the resume of Dave Dombrowski since the Phillies went to the World Series in 2022. It is not good. Want to know if you trust him at the deadline to make the improvements the Phillies need. 215-592-9494. Let's ask prospective Kyle this week. Kyle Quinn, very level-headed Kyle Quinn this week. What do you think, Kyle? Do you trust Dave Dombrowski? Yes or no? You trust this man?
Somebody's got to be level-headed on the show. I'm with Hopeful Hugh today.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
No, and look, I am totally with you. The track record, the resume of the deadline moves here with Dave Dombrowski, it's not been good. But what Jim Bowden said was when he targets the best, he gets the best. I'm not so sure that he was making or going into these deadlines the past few years making the biggest swings. I think he was sort of hedging a little bit with the future. I think the fact that he didn't do as much this offseason is what indicates to me that he's gearing up to finally make that big swing at this trade deadline. I just don't think he's been willing to part with some of their top end prospects over the last few years. I think now he might be. You heard him. He knows that this
be. He needs to be.
I know, but I think now he looks at this team's window and realizes that it is closing. They don't know if they're going to have Schwarber back next season. They don't know if they're going to have JT back next season. Ranger Suarez, a lot of these guys, he knows that the time is now. It's put up or shut up time. And I think now this deadline, we're going to see him part ways with some of their higher end prospects. And I think he's going to get some good returns for them. I just have a feeling that when the dust settles this time, we're going to be very happy with the deadline moves. Am I guaranteeing a World Series? No. But no team that makes a big move, no matter who you get, is guaranteed a World Series. I feel pretty good about it this time. I just do.
I hope he's willing to do it, But I can't, if the question is, do you trust him to do it? Do you believe he will do it? Based on the last couple of years, it's just impossible for me to do that because we don't have the evidence. Like, all of the evidence points in the other direction. All of the evidence points in the direction of Dave Dombrowski being conservative, of him prioritizing the long term, of him being unwilling to move on from these prospects. And I think this is a year where that philosophy needs to change. I think the Phillies need to be more aggressive. They need to go out and improve the deadline. And I don't trust them. Hugh does. Would love to get your take.